Well, we got the bikes, we got the guns. Now what?
Are there any
Wow.
bio-lizards to complement that?
Guys, tomorrow finally came after we finished up the Knuckles show here on June 29th, which for some reason feels a lot colder and more merry than I remember June feeling.
Anyway, welcome to Sonic Free. Yay!
The movie.
Merry, the perfect Christmas present.
Yes, the movie. I should clarify. I
It's-
do
hey,
not remember
hey.
Shadow being in the Genesis game.
You see,
It's Mega Drive, Shira. You're European, damn it.
You know, you
Sorry.
joke, but they legit released a Genesis cartridge to actually advertise this movie. Like, it was a mini game, but it was incredible. But you can tell this is the movie version of Sonic 3 because the game version of Sonic 3 comes before Knuckles. In this case, the Sonic 3 movie came after Knuckles. So it's Knuckles and Sonic 3 instead of Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
So after two movies, trying to convince the Paramount executive that his vision was trying to do something more than, retreading the ground of a Bayformers movie, Jeff Fowler finally gets to geek out and bring his precious boy Shadow into the mix and trying to reference as much as possible the games where he appeared in.
And the year was 2005, and people were very split about a project that involved swearing, Shadow riding a motorcycle, and shooting a gun. The year was 2025, and suddenly people were raving positively about a project that involves swearing, Shadow riding a motorcycle, and shooting a gun.
But that begs the biggest question out of all of them. How important did the Knuckles series, was to view in order to see this movie? Well, let's find out.
Not at all.
We?
Yay!
Spoilers, Shiroid. Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, I could be wrong. I've only seen this movie once, so I could be wrong. There might be a couple of references in there, but yeah.
The answer may surprise you, but let's get down to business to defeat Gun,
right.
I guess. Where should we start?
Start at the custom Paramount logo with the rings in 3, 2, 1, click.
Boy, what a Christmas run it's been. We've had a bit of a rough ride with the James Bond flicks. We had Journey to the Center of the Earth, which is fine enough. And then there was Frozen.
I love it, Joe, but you completely forgot about Thunderbirds Are Go.
Exactly. Thunderbirds Are Go is
that was a no-go,
movie.
so...
Like, Thunderbirds Are Go, not a good movie, and I've already forgotten it. Speaking of video games, the Sega Cinematic Universe.
I still love it. They include the scenes from Ribbon Pip and the Emperor's Treasure where these days everyone even has forgot about it. You still live in my heart.
Look forward to the Rhythm Thief movie in 2030.
So we start on Prison Island because, yes, the Japanese government clearly has an island, near its coast that they've given to a bunch of American soldiers or British, depending in this version, that they call Prison Island.
Yeah, there you go. It's canon. Prison Island is off the coast of Japan.
Nope, just as a quick warning, I will be back in like 2 minutes because the first couple of minutes of this movie is flashy beyond belief.
Chaos Flash, yeah.
God, he's so cool. Expect me to say that a lot.
Yeah, but you're right, though.
Wait a minute, Maria was the one who composed Live and Learn, so Gunn murdered her to get the music rights for it.
So wait, so what you're saying, Jover, is Crush 40 hired Gunn to murder a little girl so they could get the music rights?
Damn.
It was all a conspiracy, I tell you.
Uh-oh.
Also, to be
Bob,
fair,
you just had to say that, didn't you? Uh-oh.
Oh, that's
you forgot the magic word.
Now, in regards to this being off of Tokyo, to be fair, this could probably be an American base constructed potentially during World War II or a conjoined one, or, of course, a top secret one that no one is supposed to be aware of, essentially.
Oh yes,
So-
point your Nerf laser gun at the Hedgehog. I'm sure those will do something. I don't believe in
Also,
the
let's
games
just
the
move-
GUN was made of a lot of stupid people, but holy shit.
Oh, and he died.
I can't believe Shadow dies at the beginning of a movie. Nah, just kidding. You're all dead.
Psych.
Cried John Wick's awake!
Why is he a hedgehog now?
Because the people who made this movie thought it was funny to have Keanu Reeves voice a character. Again, well,
Isekais are all the
Okay,
range.
I already talked about how this franchise loves to use celebrities for the specific roles, but
Okay, I'm going to say this. The Sonic series definitely had more of a pass using celebrities since Sonic has never been as consistent with its voice actors, so personally, I would have rather we'd started with Roger Craig Smith, but I did get that at this point they had a cast that they were setting out with doing it. And I will say this, I absolutely do love that they ended up going with Keanu Reeves. Like, I remember there was quite the betting pool of hopes for who would voice Shadow. I remember there was
Robert Pattinson doing the Batman.
Robert Pattinson, Christian Bale, Keanu Reeves, and I think there was one other notable one
God, he's so cool.
that people really wanted. But yeah, no, in the end, Keanu Reeves won, and honestly, I'm all here for it.
I honestly just wish they had Jason Griffith. He will still be my favorite Shadow. Meanwhile,
Same.
let's get back to, people who actually have a voice actor from the game.
Tails.
Anyway.
Well, technically Shadow counts since Keanu Reeves did voice Shadow for that DLC level in Shadow Generations.
Well, as we also learned, it's only a matter of building. The only reason Tails is voiced by Corino Shawnies is because I guess someone at Paramount deems the character expendable enough to, just stick to basic voice acting so they don't have to pay the person that much. Capitalism for the win.
That's admittedly not entirely the reason. Okay, the main reason has to do with the fact that, okay, they got Colleen to basically voice Tails for, his show up at the end of Sonic 1. But I guess in the long run, they figured, hey, it might actually get us better publicity to stick with her as the voice actor for Tails.
Instead of, having someone like Tom Holland.
Yeah, so to be fair, it's not entirely due to money. Part of it is due to luck that she was already voicing Tails, so they figured, hey, no point in changing up continuity there.
Also, as I mentioned when
they're on drugs.
Also, as I mentioned when we finished the Knuckles series, Knuckles is basically his characterization reset, not completely, but almost to how he was at the end of the second movie. Like, sure, you can make the argument that he truly did not really learn that much in his own series, but you can... cute reference to the game. But you can kind of still feel the difference.
I would argue that, to be fair, he didn't really get that much development in the series. No, that was more so Wade Whipple's development, but I'd say what bit of development he had did stick around, but yeah. Oh, crud.
Curses, foiled again.
And
oh
yes,
God,
the Sonic
Tails, what's wrong with your face?
So yes, one lesson that I think the Sonic films have learned from the Mario movie, probably the only lesson, maybe having a few pieces of game music in the right context would help.
And Tom Walkenborg was like, fine. Reluctantly.
To be fair, Sonic 2 did have some game music, but this is the one that finally truly commits to it. Which does make me wonder how much Jeff Fowler or whoever had enough sense had to twist Junkie XL's
As
arm.
I mentioned when we did the Mario movie this year, I genuinely believe it is a case of, you stole my humans. It's generally a case where Jeff Fowler really, and maybe also the rest of the development team, really had to wrestle the executives at Paramount to gain any single inch to not turn this into an Alvin and the Chipmunks clone. And even then, I'm still pondering because I'm sorry to say already in advance, but the weakest link to me in this movie that I still appreciate is, unfortunately enough, Sonic himself. Despite learning very good lessons, like for example with this scene we're about to have, in a lot of, he's still very stuck into saying a lot of stupid shit and Joss Whedon style pips, which I get it. It's still part of his character, but it still gets annoying a lot of the time.
Ow.
I wouldn't say it's Whedonistic, like it's not that bad. I think honestly it is fit Sonic enough in that this is Sonic, but Sonic definitely is more a kid slash beginner slash, more naive essentially. Like this is basically Sonic in what we can consider not quite as rookie years, but intermediate years as opposed to the Sonic in the games who's, more on top of stuff. Part of this, I do think, just stemmed from the fact that Sonic 1 was definitely treated as an origin point.
No,
I think
sorry.
it also
Not that literally.
I think it also helps that pretty much with every adaptation that is in a game, Sonic is different enough. Like each team decides to do their own thing with him.
I feel like Sonic and Mario are kind of parallels but opposites. Like, yes, back in the earlier days, Mario had a lot of different iterations, but obviously
God, he's
these
so
days,
cool.
Mario. Oh, yes. Yes, he is.
Oh, how is no one weirded out seeing the small mutated hedgehog walking around?
It's just another kid in a
Actually-
fursuit. So we don't have Times Square, but we have Shibuya. Sure, why not?
So,
Congrats,
So,
Shadow,
yeah.
you're old.
yep. Also, Chow in
Chow in
space.
space.
Neat.
Is that what Keanu Reeves says?
I don't want to do any more John Wick movies.
Bro, I just woke up.
Literally.
They legit transformed and revived John Wick as a hedgehog. The reason is obvious. A lot of people do draw the comparisons between John Wick and Shadow. And, in a way, they do work with that.
Yeah,
You're
to
about to say,
James
Tio?
Marsden, you're under arrest for Disenchanted. Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad.
To continue what you were saying about also, Keanu Reeves' performance, that's also instead one of my other grips. Not necessarily for this movie, but this movie kind of made me realize that the whole problem that I have with Kirk Thornton's performance as Shadow is that about the genuine direction. The people at Sega thinks this type of very dry new voice for Shadow that has been happening since pretty much the first generation is the perfect thing to have for the character, while not getting that both in the adventure games and with Jason Griffith's performance, he was having a more soft type of edgy performance with the character, while instead both Kirk and Keanu have a more dry type of, delivery, basically.
So yeah, Jessica Jones is the leader of this mission.
I remember when everyone thought that Kristen Ritter was going to play Rouge for this.
And here's a thing that ticked off a lot of people. The fact that compared to how in the game Sonic was framed and he had to, literally escape from prison, as a nod to the fact that he was always an icon of eco-terrorism against an establishment. No, here he's just more than happy to work with the government. Yeah, I get that he has a personal interest, but I don't know. He seems to be a bit too happy-go-lucky to do this.
To the movie's credit, Sonic considers himself first the hero, so deal with it first and then we'll deal with gun later. And two, the movie does later address that and does get things on track with Adventure 2, just admittedly in its different way, which, you know what? I do appreciate
Alright, time
that
for
while
the
this
quote.
movie could have...
Hello Kitty terrorizing Japan.
I can't believe
mean,
that.
she practically rules the world there, so yeah, it's possible.
Knuckles, no.
He said
Heck
the
yeah.
line!
We like running better.
Okay, this is one of the things I legit do love about this movie. I know that we've had some other good video game movies, but this feels like the one that is the most unafraid to go, look at me, I'm an adaptation of a video game franchise that I'm not embarrassed of.
Well, I argue the Mario movie wasn't either, but it's more about execution than anything.
Yeah, the Mario movie wasn't so much as embarrassed, but it was still hampered back by a lot of corporate wanting to do things this or that way, essentially.
Yeet.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully there was nobody in
My
that
man.
shot.
Alright, time
Also,
for the other shot. God,
Movie
he's,
re-
God,
game
he's so cool!
but
Shadow
Oh, by
of
the-
5 reference. Holy shit.
I know Sonic, he's so cool!
Yeah, exactly. You're both wrong.
well,
And the best thing that I love about Shadow is the perfect word for Sonic because he has absolutely none of his shit.
we're trying to be diplomatic, Knuckles.
He got, so maybe working with the government might not be such a good idea.
Okay, admittedly, the government's the only reason they even knew that Shadow was a thing. Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Not the Reester, Twister. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow,
How can you can't call him Knuckles about being able to use his wrist in the first place?
who'd have thought this would be the first ever interaction we saw between Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves? Wanna bet?
Ow.
And
here's
there's
another
another 05 reference. By the way,
skill issue.
Where did he get the bike from?
Who cares? It's
From
cool.
Gun.
Shut up.
oh, by the way, in the background, you may have noticed earlier, there was the pink-haired girl who has been plaguing the concept art, who we finally now know who she is, apparently. Well, we have some hints on who pink-haired girl is, finally. She showed up in one of the Tails Chats videos. Apparently she's Dr. Vera, or whatnot, essentially. Subtle hints that she may or may not actually be Maria's long-lost baby sister from times long ago, but that is neither here nor there. I'll talk more about that when we get to Shadow Generations.
Imagine this poor guy just woke up, discovered that he was in prison, the guard is to kill him, and then there's this asshole constantly quipping on his ass. Shadow is really not having a good day.
I mean, he gets to
But-
ride a motorcycle. What's wrong with that?
And look awesome doing it.
On top of the Tokyo Tower.
Also, while the music may not always show, check out the soundtrack listing. It is chock full of Sonic references with what they name each piece.
Hey, tell
And
me
yes,
you watched Akira without having watched Akira, actually.
But hey, he did the Akira slide up a building, so he does get 10,000
No,
bonus
again,
points
if there's
for
something that I
awesome.
realized over the passage of time is that everyone who referenced the Akira slide actually haven't watched the movie at the end of the day.
And he calls the power outage.
Just like in the
They're
first
just
movie.
that powerful.
Remember, this movie is operating on the fact that Sonic's quill run electricity or some shit like that.
Oh, just for insult to injury.
Well, at least we know that Tails' idea works, huh? Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, buddy.
Just admit defeat.
Just play Sonic Heroes. You get the hang of it.
Yeah, the superpower of teamwork.
So to Sonic's credit, the moment they realized that, Gun may have screwed something up, they pretty much want answers from them. And they're going to get them at the Chow Garden.
My God, this is a place of my worst nightmares.
I want to go here.
Yes.
I'm being surrounded by giant
They're
giant
cute!
marshmallows.
You know what? I actually do wonder how much they had to pay royalties for making these references. I can just imagine the Paramount executive having to sweat. Jeff, we cannot reference this other thing, please.
Damn it, we're doing it! And yeah, it's funny because this movie is the Sonic movie that finally outgrossed Detective Pikachu. In fact, yeah, this movie did pretty sweet at the box office, considering the fact that it got like 1 full month in the theater before
just in
Paramount
case you were wondering about the continuity, no, Black Doom is definitely still a thing, so you have to expect him arriving at one point. Poor Shadow.
Basically, in this version, Shadow came in a black meteorite, essentially.
But he still has the design of the black arms, so, it doesn't leave that much to the imagination. It's clear that they're saving that for his solo movie.
Also, Bill Nye, why were you on the science team?
I mean, I think that answers itself. And yeah, similar to Sonic, he could produce that much energy. I wonder who that was.
God. That poor sweet child.
They're putting him in the soup.
Yum, yum, yum.
Shadow will remember that.
Absolutely. Uh-oh.
Up.
Right on time.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Tails.
Yeah, I'm with the general guy. Like, what is I doing with my life? Oh.
Well, you're about to die.
Oh no, the Chows are on fire!
Yay! Burn!
They destroyed the Chow Garden. Now we'll never see one until Sonic Adventure 3. People really do like to just charge in on motorcycles for ore farming, don't they? Snake Eyes? Shouldn't you be in a failed G.I. Joe spinoff?
It kind of looks like him. Was the Snake Eye movies also from Paramount, or was it somewhere else? Okay.
You know, it's funny, given how Sonic's apparently now one of Paramount's most successful franchises, it's been hinted that they might try to make a cinematic universe revolving around Sonic of all things.
I mean,
I was crossed by
he's looking pretty rough.
Thing. What do you think?
You got it wrong, man. This is Sonic, not Doom. So, like, just to know, because I did not really get this, is it confirmed that he's actually dead with this?
It's hinted, but it hasn't been absolutely confirmed. Basically, it's in that nice middle point where, hey, if we want him to be dead, he'll be dead. If we want him to live, we can say he survived miraculously. Let's just say he's in critical condition.
Then why did you hire them? Yeah,
well, to be fair,
you will learn very quickly that the gun commander is kind of an idiot.
Okay, to be fair, the guy up top pretty much ordered it, so she had to follow orders. Let's just say Kristen Ritter's character is very ambitious in this one. Potentially to an evil degree.
I'm sure a subplot will go somewhere.
Again, I just remember when everyone was hoping she'd turn out to be Rouge. Before we found out she
Agent
was going to be a
Stone.
gun director.
Code milker.
Okay, apparently,
this
from
is-
what I checked, there were a bunch of deleted scenes tied to this movie production that were cut off for runtime. I really wish this movie got a director's cut for home video. And one of them was to properly foreshadow better this moment, where apparently they would have had, a scene before this where it showcased that Stone and Robotnik were still using this crab to move around in the seas of a world and temporarily reside for a bit in the Mexican Gulf, which will explain also the scene we're about to get. Oh no, la ultima pasión. No!
Unbelievable.
Oh, the scenes coming!
So yeah, let's just say that Robotnik, to quote a Nickelodeon series, so just to reference other Paramount stuff, clearly has lost control of his life.
Which conveniently has fattened him up.
So, also another funny story, well, actually two things. One more important, another scene that was deleted was having a flashback that showed how Stone rescued the Robotnik at the end of a previous movie. Again, I guess they just did not deem it important enough for theatrical release, yeah. Also,
Yeah, they all look how I feel.
according to the behind-the-scenes stuff and interviews, they had to write a version of the script where Robotnik did not come back because they had no idea Jim Carrey wanted to do a third movie. So allegedly, he was convinced when they presented him a letter written in gold ink, apparently.
Well,
My more cynical, self believes that the actual reason why he came back in the movie is because, let's just say he gave a reason to be in this movie to be paid more than usual.
he did say it would take a script of gold to bring him back, and okay, I will say this. Cynical or not, Robotnik does indeed get a pretty much, I'd say, fantastic arc for this movie, which not just works for this movie, but really ties together the three movies. Like, that is one thing I cannot stress enough about Sonic 3 that makes it work so well. Sonic 3 is essentially a bookend to pretty much the trilogy arc, essentially. Like, to a point where some people were wondering if this was going to be the end of the Sonic movies, because it really does provide a good wrap-up and end to everything. Sonic's arc getting used to Earth and truly acquiring to his family, essentially, and Robotnik's own arc. So interestingly enough, this is them addressing one of the big theories fans had, that Eggman was going to be the one who released Shadow, like in the game, essentially. But it turns out, no, that is not the case.
Someone else has managed to out-hack him.
But apparently, whoever this is took control of his bots, and, well, you know how Robotnik is in the movies especially. He treasures his bots above anything biological,
no.
essentially.
I think his number one issue is you.
It's time
All right.
for a montage. I love it. Consistently, Agent Stone still is super simping for his boss.
Also, to give Carrie credit, he legit did grow out his hair just for this part, essentially.
Occupied.
Like, did anyone expect a Sonic movie to bring in Old Man Yowie at any point?
That's a bit. Okay then. Hey, that's the Paramount Mountain. I guess he wanted to be cheeky.
That's right. Gun have been hidden in the Paramount Mountain all these years. You just didn't look hard enough.
So if I recall correctly, it's time for Shadow to have a bit of a refresher of his memories. Which is admittedly some of the best parts of the movie, which, so they were also, a thing in the proper Shadow games, but we never really got to elaborate a lot more about, Shadow and Maria up until Shadow Generations. So this movie had the perfect opportunity to do it, and maybe, it did condense the stuff, but I argue, as you're about to see, it did the right job in doing the work.
Yeah, no, this movie, I'd say, is the perfect companion piece to Sonic Adventure 2. Like, it definitely adapts the overall idea of Sonic Adventure 2, but since it's, the third movie, as opposed to being, like, the sixth game, essentially, it ties things better to, fit better the movie world. So anyway, this is Maria, played by Alia Brown, an absolute gem, and can we talk about how cheeky she was that she once took a picture of herself in a body bag holding up the peace signs?
She really was super into the role, so...
And she does extremely well in the role. Oh yeah, by the way, Tom Butler plays the older Commander Walters, and James Walk, I'm guessing that's how his name is pronounced, portrays the younger Captain Walters. And yes, because they did want to be cheeky and said it 50 years ago, since this movie took place in, the current year, essentially, this is in 1974.
What is she doing?
Okay, so what we have learned from later iterations is that apparently Maria was something of a prankster.
Don't you laugh, he's the ultimate life former.
God, she's so adorable. I hope nothing bad happens to her.
It would be a shame.
Shut up.
I think I mentioned in the past, I found it very fascinating that the Sonic fanbase is one of the last few instances where, despite Maria being a very clear example of fridging a character to motivate Shadow completely, fully, she did something that is even accepted by a more modern audience.
Maria does still have a role outside of dying. Like, the problem with, being fridged. Oh. Oh, God, the ultimate life form can turn into a teddy bear? Write this down, doctors.
Just be careful you don't wreck the equipment.
But now, the reason Maria works for people is, like, she's not just simply fridged, like, she has more of a role outside of just dying. Like, she is essentially Shadows' world, aside from, his, surrogate father, who we'll meet later in the movie, essentially. But,
shit!
Yeah.
You're so grounded.
But isn't
She's
it
just
delicious?
playing with a weapon of mass destruction, kinda.
Hi,
And
BioLizard!
enjoy the BioLizard, because that's its only major appearance as a mythology gag.
To be fair, given how much is packed in this movie, I kind of get why BioLizard isn't going to be the final threat, since, there's be a lot packed into it, and shoot, people apparently even complained about him in the original game and whatnot.
Well, yeah, I did, as I mentioned during our run, but I don't know. They could have done a better job and also implementing that, but we're actually having an actually interesting conversation between the two. Who let the Kingdom Hearts writer in the room?
This is set up for Kingdom Hearts 5, where Sonic finally shows up to fight alongside Sora.
Where's the Mora repellent?
So yeah,
What you?
similar to Shadow 5, our teacher Black Hedgehog really has doubts about himself. Is he a black-hearted evil or is a brave-hearted hero?
Well, Shadow, in another dimension, that thing from the movie is kind of your older brother, so maybe?
This is who I am.
Again, just be glad you didn't turn out like Bio-Lizard.
Parallels.
In my lungs.
That fucking line. No.
It's okay, guys.
Well,
She'll be fine.
Well, Shadow, you might be finding
That's
out
sweet.
sooner or later.
Listen, I'm very sappy, so like that fucking line.
Oh, look, yeah, like, if there's one thing this movie
And I also
definitely
love
did
that
amazing
to
was-
complement the tragedy, we cut back to the disc having to be turned out. Goddamn. Poor Shadow.
What I do like is the fragile sense of hope you may have that, hey, maybe she's still alive, just older, since we technically haven't seen her die.
But wait a minute. What?
You're supposed to be dead.
With just a spanking, though, hopefully.
Obviously.
So interestingly enough, the main gun base is actually not the Ark, essentially, but one, like we mentioned, hidden in the Paramount Mountain.
Thanks, Knuckles.
Or Knuckles can take care of that. What I do like is that, they definitely play Knuckles relatively well balanced here. He's naive, but they thankfully don't play him up as an idiot. Which is, again, how you should do Knuckles. So I guess, to be fair, even the games have been getting that right with Knuckles for a while. Like, again, another thing I do like about this movie, it was just another extension
instead of
of
actually
a
not
good...
getting Knuckles, for some reason, instead compared to his game incarnation, Knuckles in this case is afraid of ghosts?
Actually, him being afraid of ghosts is a thing
Jeff,
from the movies. Hi, Casper.
We can't show Casper. We have to pay royalty to Universal.
Okay. To be fair, Knuckles being afraid of ghosts actually is a thing from the games. Like, it's subtle, but yes, his fear of ghosts originates actually from Sonic Adventure 2.
That's actually racist, Doctor. Change of plans.
Fair point. Also, if you may have noted, a lot of the humans acting with the Mobians in this is top notch, thankfully, because they upgraded from like little placeholders to apparently actual puppets or whatnot.
Yeah, like in the Knuckles series. Really, Shadow?
Hey. It was perfect for when we were marketing during Halloween, okay? That's right, in addition to marketing this for Christmas, there was some Halloween marketing too.
So it's time instead for the sidekicks to actually compare notes. Yeah, I remember these from the Sly games.
Oh god, you mean this is gonna end with Sonic trapped in ancient Egypt in the end?
No, to be fair, this kind of thing happens towards the end of Sly 3. Remember, the Doctor, the main villain of Sly 3, was the sidekick of Sly's father, and he, compares himself with Bentley and says, why do you play second fiddle to him?
Although it's interesting, I do mention Thieves in Time, given how this movie ends.
He's behind me, isn't he?
Yeah. Just a reminder, he can use those shoes to fly, technically. Or hover. It's funny how many people don't remember that.
I don't recall it ever being shown that often.
Also in the
Sonic
game,
Adventure 2, literally, he flies up to go deal with the boss.
also in the gameplay, like I kind of wish we gave Shadow a gliding maneuver of some kind using those, similar to Ratchet's jet boots. So yeah, because in the first movie we really didn't establish a lot for these Robotniks' backstory, they decided to instead say that compared to this game counterpart, he doesn't know much about his family, nor he wants to.
To be fair, we did establish as early as the first movie that he was an orphan, but yeah.
You need to stop doing that.
But it makes me feel
Is it like a drug?
rejuvenated.
Yes, actually.
Okay.
We're about. Actually, there was another deleted scene, but I would like to mention that in a few minutes when it becomes more poignant.
Every adult in an Undertale game.
And here comes the big megawatt surprise that we got for this version of the story, essentially. Instead of being dead, and given the fact he was already old by the time that it happened 50 years ago, Professor Gerald Robotnick is indeed alive.
And also played by Jim
And also
Carrey.
played by Jim Carrey.
That way, they don't have to actually pay the equal amount for two actors, but they can still pay Jim Carrey just enough more, probably to justify why he's here.
Okay, I'm gonna take the non-cynical route, and I will be fair. This does resemble the games where basically both of them were played by Mike Pollock, and they're essentially. And there was originally that time where basically Gerald just looked like Eggman, but older too, for Shadow the Hedgehog, essentially. I will say this, though. I was in the camp that was rooting for Christopher Lloyd to be the one playing Gerald Robotnick.
Also, in case you're wondering how he managed to keep the appearance despite the fact that he's supposed to be 50 years older than this, one of the deleted scenes was supposed to actually say that he used that quill that he had from Shadow, which we saw that he had in his hands when he was kidnapped, which apparently granted him, extra lifespan. Not sure why that was.
Oh, they can do anything, huh?
I agree with Deji because he told me when we watched the movie, later on our own. I don't understand why that scene was cut. It kind of feels it should have been important to be kept in. Or even so, I don't understand why Paramount couldn't do a director's cut for home video like a lot of
Oh, wait,
companies
hold
do.
on.
It wouldn't have been a very
That got
long
me to
scene
laugh.
either,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this. While I do love this movie, I'll admit, I feel like they could have afforded to include quite a few of the deleted scenes that were cut for one reason or another. And it's like, dude, you didn't even hit 2 hours long. You do know that people who like these movies have a good enough attention span.
Also, similar to more modern movies, this is just a case of showcasing, look how, impressive our directing technology is to implement the same actor with body doubles in a similar scene and make it seamless. Sinners also did this in its opening scene.
Yeah. While I would have rather it have been Christopher Lloyd who played Gerald, I will say Jim Carrey was like my second go-to because playing Gerald, Jim Carrey does get to show, while still funny, one of his more sinister sides, which I know Jim Carrey, while a great comedian, does like to be able to change things up occasionally when he can. Wait a minute.
Yeah, fair enough.
Finally, he found someone as insufferably proudful as he is.
Oh.
Cute. Yeah, no, I will say this. For the most part, one thing that is kind of heart-touching and heartwarming, yes, even knowing what happens later, is seeing Eggman get to bond with his Pop-Pop. It is something that some fans kind of wish we could have gotten in Shadow Generation, since for the reasons of the plot, Maria and Gerald are back, essentially.
Yeah. The closest we did get was a line towards the end of Adventure 2 where Eggman was pondering about Gerald, and I think Tails was telling him that, it was best things happened that way.
Where he ponders if his grandfather truly indeed want to destroy everyone he would have held and loved. Also, Sonic called Shadow's hot topic, just like in the fan dub of, the live fan dub of Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, Jeff Fowler has admitted in interviews that he's very well aware of fan content for the Sonic games, and this is not the last reference to that.
The Eclipse Cannon.
So yeah, because Gun again is made of stupid people, they let Geralt design the fucking Space Colony Arc equivalent for this version in top secrecy while he was in prison. I'm sure he wouldn't, had used that to actually take over them.
To their credit, they did want to keep the keys required for, launching it under lock and key.
Yeah, but if you destroy the planet, where you're going to build your empire?
Good question. It will probably be asked later.
To be fair, as it's been long established, Eggman never wanted to actually destroy the world in Adventure 2. He wanted to use the canyon mainly as a deterrent and was probably just going to blast countries at a bit.
That is so cool.
Okay, coolness aside, you gotta love the tragedy that Shadow is so dead inside that he's willing to not just try and kill them, but basically destroy the one last place where he has memories of Maria with, essentially. Since, yeah, Gerald created basically a portable black hole.
So he's the gatekeeper, Dweebs.
I can't. He should be he should be talking in an Eastern European accent if that's the case.
Also, Knuckles, I appreciate it, but that's not how it works.
Don't you get it? He's tougher than leather.
Clearly. God damn it, Sonic.
No, wait for it! Wait for it!
It's literally like the dice at the end of the first Jumanji movie. There you go.
Just as planned.
Oh, but almost careening off a cliff, huh?
All part of the plan.
Oh no, the Paramount Mountain is being imploded.
Yeah, let them know an entire mountain's vanished.
No life forms detected. Notice one thing that's different between them. Eggman emphasizes control. Gerald emphasizes more so destruction, essentially. It's interesting going back to Eggman's journals from Frontiers, essentially, which I do get the feeling the team definitely took note from Frontiers and based a lot of Gerald on what Eggman recalls from his notes here, especially for one particular scene, but yeah.
So yeah, it's time for some bonding montage.
He can have all the family memories he never got to have.
Oh,
Not you.
hey, he actually built
Eggman
Eggman
Land.
Land in a VR set, as you will see soon.
Are they going to
Doing it,
advertise Sky
Granddaddy!
Mobile with this music?
Jeff, you cannot use Wouldn't It Be Nice? We have to pay royalties.
I will say this also. Okay. Licensed songs be licensed songs, but it is one thing I can give the Sonic movies credit for. They seem to consistently at least pick, good ones, essentially. Also, just a reminder that this is a Christmas movie. But it seems that someone might be left out.
Oh. Oh.
No, it's not worth it.
And that's how we justify this being a Christmas pick.
There you go.
Well, that's not the only thing that justifies it.
But yes, Agent Stone is
Alone.
not doing too well.
Is this the same one they used in the first movie, this rendition?
I think it is.
Oh god, what the hell is that thing that he has?
He's the
You're asking
Donut
what
Lord.
he's wearing? It's a Christmas sweater.
Did Sonic make that?
Probably Tails.
If it were Tails, those donuts would probably hide like little mini weapons.
Oh. Hi.
Stop saying words.
Yeah, thank you. What was that to zoom in? It was like the office.
Is that what they're going to use whenever they can't get James Marsden for a movie?
Oh, you better be careful. You're sleeping on the couch with that thing.
Alright, let's see.
Another thing I do like is that they definitely chose the good middle ground. Like, they don't get rid of Tom and Maddie, but they definitely measure their roles a lot more here, which is quite interesting when you think about it, compared to obviously the first movie where... What a wonderful feeling.
Does the GUN headquarters has an energy shield that can kill things go in contact with it in the middle of London? That seems to be an accident in waiting to happen.
How many seagulls has that shield
the whole city because I want the whole city like that.
So hey, to its credit, this is something that was actually foreshadowed in the Knuckles series with the GUN base over in England, basically. Another thing to keep in mind is, like, since GUN are basically a whole world service organization, that's probably why they had that Japanese base, essentially. Okay, so to give Gun credit, they did consider, hey guys, some of these aliens do have rings that can teleport them anywhere, so let's prevent that, essentially.
Hey, the Sonic Mania character selection screen, I noticed. Uh-huh. Okay, then.
So, apparently what they chose to do is have it be that the Master Emerald can apparently summon the Chaos Emerald, which is weird. I recall from the second movie that they shot up all on their own.
You know, just in case, it's to know. Why was the font so big?
Because you want to know it was London.
I can't tell with all these Union jerks.
Shadow's been away for like 2 days and they've sent him to England.
Oh, also, one thing that kind of got deleted, there was kind of this running bit about Eggman who had a stream going, basically, which would have culminated with a final stream he gives near the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that one got cut because they thought it was a pace breaker.
Yes, absolutely. My favorite.
Red Squawk.
He's a little cringe.
Hey, look, it's the London Eye, but thankfully the Fantastic Four aren't wrecking it for once. And there's the London Bridge, which Magneto is thankfully not wrecking. Yeah, basically, when it comes to the Marvel Universe, the one city that gets wrecked second to New York City is apparently London.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't just go smashing it willy-nilly. Don't say Shadow.
Please, thank you. Well, at least he got that. Yeah, there you go. I love it. Tails made, portable hologram devices, even with his acute fox-like shape. This is also an occasion to have her sister in the movie. Thankfully, because we're not interrupting the plot, to have her subplot taking over like in the second movie, she's much more enjoyable in this.
Yeah, I guess they actually did get married for reals after Sonic 2.
I mean, it's not actually them.
This
Well,
has got to
what
be
I
a
mean
little
is,
weird, right?
What I mean is, based off of what they say about the two, it implies that they're in a relationship for reals, at least. Oh, yeah, there they go, married.
It is I, Agent Randall, yes. Alright, it's time to go stereotypical.
I mean, I'll give her credit. I always expected to be annoyed by Rachel, but each movie played her enough to a degree that I was fine with her, and this one works
Like
out
I
fine
said,
enough.
helps that
Even though I do
she's just a garnish and the movie does not get interrupted for her subplot to take over for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it really screams to me that it's more of a case where it's someone in the development team, either Jeff or someone else, tied to him and everything, generally try to fight tooth and nail to actually answer fan feedback.
I think what helps is, by the time of this movie, the Sonic series had definitely gotten its groove back. God.
Ow.
Now you're Jane. Wait, shouldn't you be dead? Thought Walter White watched you die.
Uh-oh. Awkward.
Director Ritter,
Oh,
it's your
God.
long-lost twin sister.
Okay, oh, Jesus. Oh.
Jesus.
I get the idea, among other things, someone was a fan of the Spy Kids movies when making this one in particular. Okay, to be fair, Popeye, at least for a while, was owned by Paramount. By the time when this movie was made, it was in the public domain, so...
Can you imagine? Sonic crosses over with Popeye.
Well, he clearly loses instantly, so... Oh, slow there.
Sonic.
Just crack your knuckles. That should help pass the time, I guess.
Alright, it's time to hack in.
That's Shadow's thing.
That's...
It actually does work sometimes.
Mostly because
See?
There you go.
mostly because dust can potentially deposits onto the connectors. You can tell it's Tails hacking because it's yellow. Uh-oh.
Well, crud. Isn't it nice I was able to say that just in time to finish his sentence?
What chat?
Grinch reference?
I guess. Oh no.
Oh, here we go.
This is where Shadow
So,
got his
yeah.
love of Latinas.
Yeah, here's what the Ultima Passion is.
My God.
Here's what the Ultima Passion actually is. A crossbow.
Then she could be wrong.
Absurdly based.
I would respect and romance her properly.
See, Shadow wants to, and he was about to say, he wants to destroy the entire world, but he has standards.
But yeah, Tails has found them.
Uh-oh.
Gotta love those moments where Tails gets to get the drop on Shadow.
Very
That
cheerfully, he's
being-
about to drown them.
He's gonna drown all of them.
With the
Tio,
water from
Tio.
the Thames.
Tio, believe it or not, this is tame compared to what he did to the battle cuckoos.
Oh,
when
I know,
they
he
got on his
bombed the shit
island.
out of them, I know that.
That's nice to see, actually. Tails getting a moment like that.
If that suit didn't work, he'd be dead.
As he's about to say.
I'm so proud of you.
Well, hey, look, in order to get to true science, you have to do some of the most heartless test wibs.
Including having a dance off to the finish line.
From
Nah,
this is
by the
peak action.
Chemical Brothers.
Again, it's a licensed song, but they always found a good licensed song to use for Robotnik's dancing. And again, for anyone who thinks this is movie original, no, Eggman has been shown to break dance in the games. So it only makes sense he got it from his great granddad. This dance was so popular that it became a trend to replicate it, essentially.
So what, did Jim Carrey have to do this all twice?
Yes,
I get it,
along
it's
with
more
a
of
partner.
Yeah, again, using tricks like body double, CGI imposition and so on.
Apparently, the way it works is Carrey would act both of his scenes, essentially. Then, when he needed to interact with someone, it was usually somebody who he did, essentially, which, hey, good dedication to the role. And I will give this also, Jim Carrey has actually amazing compatibility with himself in the acting stage. Oh, good, it's time for the escape from the city sequence. And by that I mean you have to listen very good to catch the escape
What
from
a
the city
maverick,
bit.
that hedgehog.
Sonic is jaywalking.
Hey, come on, don't do Ringo dirty like that.
Hey, Rico was the narrator of Thomas the Tank Engine, damn it. Wait,
That guy is so fired.
Does that mean that he's the king now?
I don't know.
Oh, goodness. Also, escape from the city rift there. Nice.
Hey, it was the move from Sonic 4 Episode 2.
Okay, one thing that I do think is a bit of a shame, there's a deleted scene that shows there was going to be another fight scene between Sonic and Shadow that was going to take place in the gun headquarters, and basically there was going to be some mechanisms that both Tails and the Eggman hacked into that would either assist or hinder the respective hedgehogs.
Which I guess this
and
is
this
a
one would
remnant
actually be
of,
the first win. Yeah, the thing is that this would have actually been the first win against Shadow when Sonic tricks him into an elevator shaft that basically has the anti-gravity, allowing him to escape.
I guess this is supposed to be a kind of sort of take on Crazy Gadget.
Yes, yes it is. So here's the dealio. Apparently this director here might have some evil ambitions, at least the way she acts implies she does.
I'm sure that is
It'll
a
be interesting
brilliant
to see
payoff.
where her arc goes.
Not the time.
Grandpa, 1974 was 50 years ago. Please don't embarrass me. Keep in mind, Gerald at this point I think is about is about 100 years old.
Like I said, the deleted scene explained that it was just because he used the Shadow's quill to keep himself alive. Oh no, not the Big Ben!
Sorry, Big Ben!
Oh, and I guess
You're
that's
gonna have to shut it down again!
There you go. There's your payoff for watching the Knuckles series. The fact that he used the Flames of Disaster here. There you go. No, not like this.
Now it really is a crazy gadget.
Or is this one of those bad rounds from Sonic Shuffles? Oh.
I mean, is this? Oh my god, this is basically the closest we're gonna get to mad space in one of these movies.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you see, when you alter gravity, you tend to impact also the environment.
All right. Eggman versus Jessica Jones. Who will win? And before anyone says she has super strength, need I remind you that in Sonic Riders, Eggman can literally punch buses away.
Jova, let's go back to even the original Genesis Mega Drive games. Eggman Robotnick can outrun Sonic, apparently.
Did we bring up that the reason that they got Shadow loving Latina's thing was because of Jet?
Oh hey, look at that. It's that trailer shot that made everyone think that Tom was going to die.
No, we didn't, Lives, but basically you just did. God damn it.
And everyone's backs are fucked.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do that.
You should at least clean that at some point.
Tom has an idea.
Surprise!
He's not dead.
Although with
Dun,
a
dun,
cast.
dun.
Punished Walters.
No eye patch, though. Trust me, please. It is definitely not a trap. Okay, believe you. Again, who let the Kingdom Hearts writer here?
Although,
I mean,
funny
look,
thing-
like he's a superior officer, so what you gonna
And
do?
say goodbye to Jessica Jones because she's out of a movie. I wonder if it was a deleted scene that it was supposed to show her again.
you know, one of the theories I
Oh,
subscribed to
poor
was actually
timing.
that.
Well, press the button then.
Panic state,
I
I
mean,
guess.
also, Dwibs, remember how fast Sonic and Shadow move?
Like taking
At
candy
least
from a
try to
baby,
press
which
it.
is fine by me.
Oh boy.
It's
Not what it looks like.
looks like, yeah.
You don't understand, Sonic. The Phoenix killed him.
The Iblis trigger, yes, that happened.
When you get down to it, the Phoenix could be like the Iblis trigger, but yes.
I love this.
Shadow is
is
found
like,
out.
wait a minute, other people have someone that they care for other than me?
It seems that in his rage, Shadow has come to the lesson that he must learn, that revenge leads him to hurt people. And as we all know, violence breeds violence.
So once again, in a film with a bunch of mutant characters running around, James Marsden dies in a movie.
Yep. Also, just another 05 reference, I am that cool.
Yes.
Well, Grand Paparino, that's pretty convenient for the pacing.
Yeah, really. So yeah, the space colony arc here is much more simplified due to how it was built and everything. Especially considering it was it had not been launched yet, instead of just being in orbit.
Which, I guess to be fair, does kind of address one thing some might have wondered from the game here, that, hey, guys, how has nobody ever noticed a weird space station in the years? And, oh, there it is. The Adventure Era suit. And yes, Jim Carrey is replicating how all the fans in my theater were squeeing when they saw those suits.
Meanwhile, Agent Stone is having the worst day of his life. Again.
I can't believe I was outsmarted by an 8-year-old fox.
He tries, and he tries, and he tries.
Well, the Thames has already a lot of garbage in it. What's one more onto the pile?
As long as he gets his rest, he's fine. Hey! Eggman's Adventure 2 theme!
At least the smartphone was waterproof.
Yes. Which I do love implies that he has completely embraced Sonic calling him Eggman here too as well. I will have you know, I am the Eggman with the master plan, and I am about to teach you, low deadweight. Aw, at least you would still clone him, though. But you care enough that you'll clone me?
Okay.
I don't know how to feel.
You can do better. You can do better than this, Stone.
Don't go where I can follow.
Sure, I.
Oh.
The true love.
You have to accept it, man. It's over.
He can do better.
Your lost love is going to where you can't follow. Space. And yeah, I will say this. These costumes look flipping amazing.
Yeah.
Also, James,
Pretty much.
just asking, because, yes, GUN is kind of like an Interpol organization, but clearly the British government had to pay or be paid to, have them utilize the space for this kind of shit. Where did your tax money went?
Well, we got it from, they had to get the money from the budget that they normally use to fund, well, practically any football below the 4th tier.
The sad thing is, that's probably the cleanest thing to come out of the terms.
I guess on the plus side, at least we're not destroying you with tungsten rods like in the second G.I. Joe movie. And yeah, like I said, we're using one of the Eggman themes from Sonic 06 for this.
Also used in Unleashed and Colors. Fun fact, actually, around this time, one of the deleted scenes was part of that running trend of Eggman doing streaming. I think one of those bits was even a shout out to Fortnite. God, that face.
Don't worry, the NHS is free healthcare. They'll take care of him.
Yeah,
I think part of the
thank
thing
goodness
is
we're
like
not in America, otherwise Sonic would have had to pay way too much.
Starting with Generations, they kind of moved back to EGGMAN as Eggman's main theme, essentially. You mean we're actually getting Supersonic in this movie? I'd have never imagined. I'll give Knuckles this, you'll notice. He doesn't say that the Master Emerald should never be used. He says specifically it shouldn't be used for revenge. Keep that in mind for later.
I mean, when you get down to it, it's like the whole spiel in the Star Wars prequel where they say, the Jedi's use the Force only to defend and never to attack, when that's not even remotely how they worked.
How messed up is it that Knuckles is the one being closer to anger management than Sonic here?
I do like what they do with this.
Wow, what are you gonna do? Kill Knuckles?
Or Knuckles is gonna kill Sonic. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, they did reference
Sonic's toughest challenge yet. Wade
Whoa.
Whipple, who has the superpower to drag away screen time.
So you know about how much we had to spend to Wade doing bowling for the entire season. Now not only is just doing hockey instead, but the whole act of Knuckles entrusting to him the Master Emerald happened off screen between the series and the movie. I mean, something that we probably should have seen as the epilogue of it.
Okay, I'm gonna be kind of fair. I'm guessing their mentality was if we showed that at the end of the series, that would kind of spoil the twist that Wade
That's what
has
a tie-in
the emerald.
is supposed to be,
the thing is, everyone and their mother went to see Knuckles because they thought it was going to be the big thing linking.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought it was going to be like that Dorkly sketch where Sonic eats the emeralds.
Nah. In this continuity, apparently the Master Emerald can summon the emeralds. I'm a bit on the fence about that, but I guess to be fair, it saves us having to collect all of the emeralds to get Supersonic.
New York doesn't look in a big state of panic, though.
I mean...
Wait, wasn't that Japan?
Yeah, there was...
No, there was New York after that.
And yes, to replicate not just the Ark, but the Death Egg, must have solar panels.
So yeah, because in this continuity we don't have Amy having to talk sense into Shadow, instead it's Geralt having to tell him what to do. Yes, clearly.
For those who have wondered, what would Geralt have done if he was alive, especially based off of some of the journal notes we've gotten, here we go. He digs deep down to get the most negative thoughts and feelings that Shadow can procure.
It's kind of funny that in this continuity they bother to explicitly say that Geralt did not work with Black Doom to create Shadow, because honestly it would have been fitting more, considering everything. So, the big question that everyone had, were they gonna shoot Maria nonetheless in this version? Outside of the fact that they have energy guns for, sanitization reason. One was trying to do it, but thanks to, I forgot his name, instead they missed the shot and hit some of the Chaos Energy capsules.
I think that was probably a good enough compromise since they probably wanted. They kept this PG, although this is arguably a pretty relatively violent
It kind of
standard by the
reminded me
Sonic
when,
movies.
for the Kingdom Hearts 2 World of Pirates of the Caribbean, they gave the pirates crossbows in the Western version.
And also, gun deliberately killing children in this kind of continuity, that really wouldn't have endeared gun to anybody.
Okay,
well,
that's
I
kind of the
wasn't to
weird
begin
thing.
with, considering what happened in the previous movie.
Ultimately, it didn't happen, but those guys had full intention of shooting them.
Yeah. It also recontextualizes a bit Geralt's motivation. As I mentioned a couple of times in recent times, oh god, the Shadow in a couple of shots did become like OG Sonic's design. We are all responsible for our own actions, IRL and in a story of fiction, and Geralt is responsible for what he's doing, so, don't mistake for a second that you should justify or excuse his actions, but you can see where he comes from because his form is of ultimate revenge, directed by cynicism. The project that he worked on his entire life, similar to in the game, was shut down by government stooges, idiots that did not know what to do and accidentally killed, one of his own only remaining relatives. This movie answers the questions: what if Geralt, instead of actually being killed, was allowed to actually continue his work? The result is become the main villain. Also, another thing to note is that because this death was more instantaneous, Maria doesn't get to have the occasion of saying to Shadow her last words, protect humanity, unfortunately. I kind of found it hilarious considering the game was bothered to try to put Geralt in a more sympathetic light with each passing one, like in Shadow 05, where he says, oh no, I was only working for Black Doom, but I was having my own agenda to save humanity in the meantime, and this is reinforced in Shadow Generations.
And the one guy who did, he told to piss off.
Ouch.
Damn.
Jesus.
That legit brought tears to many people's eyes. Like, it's just something that, as much an asshole as Robotnick has been in the movies, seeing his hopes just torn apart like that as his grandfather divulges into madnesses. And again, this is Jim Carrey getting to flex that he can do stuff out of just tee-hee-hee funny, man, essentially.
Well, have you ever seen movies like The Number 23 or Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind?
I have not yet, but I am aware.
Okay, Amy, just go out and convince. Oh no, wait.
Sorry.
Well, it's like I said, I'm aware that Jim Carrey does like to flex outside of just comedy, so I can see also why he would have liked Gerald stuff at least. Speaking of the commander, just want to note one thing. When he stops the soldier from shooting Maria and Shadow directly, he says those are kids. Meaning, he also viewed Shadow as innocent enough that he considered him a kid too. Gerald did as well. It shows that the right people who actually took the time to understand Shadow realized that he was, in essence, a scared kid like Sonic was at the start of the first movie, essentially.
Oh yeah, do you remember the part in SA2 where Sonic and Shadow were going all around the world blowing up shit to try and kill each other?
But Shadow is so cool that he can knock Sonic out of a super state.
Wait a minute, I thought that was supposed to be Knuckles this stream. Oh wait, crud. Quick, Sonic, get the Chaos Emeralds!
Not the Sky Beam!
And yeah,
But,
I have to reiterate what he said in our SA2 run. I kind of wish Shadow State was also a bit golden. Again, I get it. It's to differentiate from Sonic's super form, and there's also the juxtaposition of, white hero positivity and blah blah blah. But I don't know. I don't particularly like the whole ivory red contrast.
Also, congratulations, fans! Sonic X is no longer the only place you can see an official battle between Super Sonic and Super Shadow.
Hooray.
And yes, they're moving so fast that they're going across the whole planet.
May you look.
That's a nice throwback to the first movie. Well, it's a good thing I came with a jetpack installed just for this very scenario.
At least we're not referencing Roger van der Dime's Lost World video, where instead he's substituted with a fart pack.
So they have enough honor not to pull the
man.
mustache.
Jeff, we can't keep referencing Warner Bros. Stuff. We're gonna have to pay royalties.
But you see, the joke's on you because Sonic's gonna cross over with DC, so this will be retroactively okay.
Wow, even Robotnick isn't immune to hate watching things.
I mean, Green Lantern 2011. It's one of the rare occasions where you can say the movie, the show, the toys, and the amusement park ride all failed.
I mean, I still like it better than Man of Steel.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It's technically a better start to a cinematic universe, if you ask me.
And hey, even though the show failed, I do think it was actually pretty good.
Shadow is so cool that he can only lecture Sonic in his hypocrisy.
Hey guys, I think Tio might like Shadow. Don't know what it is.
You know, villains always make that mistake of angering the hero enough that they
Also,
overclock their
you
power.
killed the Parthenon.
To the moon!
Oh.
Gee, makes me wonder who will be having voice Shadow in anything that needs voicing.
Also, yeah, these movies say that even outside of the super state that the hedgehogs can breathe in space. I mean, I guess, sure. I mean, I'd rather have that.
It's been the same with the games, so...
Yeah, think about it. I mean, unless we assume that every outdoor section in the Arctic had, a force field of breathable air in there, I guess everyone can do it.
Save Maria! Why did you say the name?
I don't know. Maria doesn't mean anything to me.
God,
Sorry,
if in the first movie they had Tom's wife being called Maria, this would have been the perfect moment for a reference.
Sorry, Shadow, but this is not who I am.
There are no winners of revenge. I've seen other films that might disagree with you there.
Like the first Batman 1989 movie. Oh, don't worry, Shadow.
Like Diamonds in the Sky?
Yes.
Don't worry, Shadow. Among these, there will be the blank comment that you will probably have to deal with in your own solo movie.
Well, that's the thing. Shadow technically came in his own little black comet in this continuity, which kind of might hint that Black Doom created him based off of Sonic in this version.
Well, again, if they run with the idea that the whole Chaos Emeralds and energy do synergize with a word or something, that would make sense. So, again, it's still pretty clear. Consider also how Jeff Fowler is a declared fan because he worked on Shadow 5. That's gonna be the plot of his own movie anyway.
Knowing him, he might take inspiration from Frontiers, which finally gave us something of an origin for the Chaos Emeralds as well.
It's the climax of the Genesect movie. Look, Sonic,
Except
I see now that the world is so beautiful.
Wow, it was that easy? I just had to show you the sun?
From the moon.
Oh, that movie was just extremely unremarkable.
It turns out I've got a lot to learn as I live. And you can live and learn.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, I can do... that's the one thing I can't do, especially with what's coming next. Take it away, Tom! There it is! And the dap up and everything from how they have their victory animation after Final Hazard.
Jerk-off pose like in SA2.
He said the line! Even you, Tio.
No, I, for one,
Yes,
beg to
you
differ.
do.
No. And if anything, Naldo made a very good point on why that is so forced as a catchphrase.
I choose to have whimsy in my life.
Yes.
Anyway, live and learn. Yay!
And unfortunately, we have to cut back to the Robotniks fighting against each other, which is more played for comedy. Again, it feels to me someone, maybe Jeff Fowler himself or someone else, particularly for the movie, was a big fan of a Spy Kids movie, because a lot of the comedy, energy, and character movements in these are very, remind me a lot of those.
I will say this. I have a lot of praise to give for when Gerald goes absolutely psycho and there's like no laughs about it. Oh.
Yeah.
You see, that's how a Sonic product can get away with saying the word damn. But yeah, no, like, for as much as I do praise Jim Carrey getting to flex his range and not just be comedic, I do wonder if it was his idea for the final Gerald fight to be this comedic, which, again, I do find a bit jarring that we go from super serious to suddenly jokey jokes for this fight. There is a deleted scene that shows that there was going to be a more subdued fight where it's more them pointing laser gloves, essentially, which seemed like it would have been less comedic. Although part of my issue with that deleted scene was that it would have required Eggman to give Gerald literally a fighting chance by throwing him a glove, which wouldn't really make sense given what's at stake. That is kind of sad. Like, he legit thought of Shadow as one of his kids, but now he just thinks of him as a worthless traitor.
The kid he was proud of.
And because we don't have the Bio-Lizard, now instead the climax needs to be against a bunch of generic gun robots. Like, I get the idea it's your excuse to have a scene where Shadow and Sonic can kick ass a bunch of, generic mooks, but not gonna lie, this is actually making me miss a bit the Bio-Lizard. Again, as I said before, I just wish the movie could have taken the occasion to build it better as a result.
I do feel like if they'd let this be longer than 2 hours, they probably could have worked Bio-Lizard in. That being said, this scene is still awesome, and the Adventure 2 pose!
Of course.
You can go home now. Look into your heart!
Open your heart and it's gonna be alright. Partial Unleashed reference, I guess. Your mom. If they ever start to adapt the story of Unleashed, how we're gonna justify the fact that this particular world which was supposed to be more realistic, now has to also deal with the whole ancient Gaia manuscript.
My guess is that the more stuff from Sonic's world that crosses over to here, they'll probably mention that the world is influenced by it.
Or
we've
that
already
it's
seen that there is some
merging
ancient
with Mobius.
We have seen some ancient mystical stuff as early as the second movie.
I need to mention this. Another thing that I don't like about the movie, the way Geralt is defeated. Check this out. With a fart joke.
That being said,
yes,
that's the way he goes out.
It's actually cool that it doesn't even have a exiting line because it's so sudden. It catches you off guard. But come on.
Why did they have to put in the fart sound effect? Seriously.
It's also to continue the joke about, he's old, so he smells bad.
The weird thing is, he never even farted before. It's like,
was that another deleted get running gag?
From what I've seen, no.
God damn it, Sonic.
Hey, Super Chaos Spear! And another live and learn riff, just to show, okay, we knew you guys wanted live and learn.
Tom Oakenborg
set me free. Yeah. Oh, no.
Tom Oakenborg is like, okay, are you happy now?
And also, hey, remember from Sonic Adventure 2?
Although apparently in this version, the Eclipse Cannon's blast, laser is not any much of a concussion blast, but an actual cutting beam, as we're about to see later.
Admittedly, the idea is that the lower the beam is, the more deadly it is. Basically, think about it like this. At like a lower shooting range, it's more so, weaker, more of a cutting one. But, the further it boosts out, the more powerful it is.
Alright, let's move away the laser.
Alright.
Okay, but the arc does look cool.
Yes, it does.
Come on.
Ah. Come on.
But I will never let it go. Yeah, I get it, Sonic. God damn it.
It's still not quite as on the nose with that point where Ian Flynn literally ripped
Running
the
out of
lips,
rings,
but yes,
Sonic.
Sayonara, Sonic the
Woo!
Hedgehog.
Talk about a close shave. Oh, it's been a wonderful night!
Did he just piss on the moon?
He did piss on the
You
moon.
know,
By the
you
way,
gotta love
I kind of am a bit sad when they actually had that scene in the trailer. I kind of wish it was kept as a surprise for the movie.
To their credit, one thing they did keep us surprised was the context. See, in the game
Yeah,
originally,
true.
the moon getting obliterated is like
A
a moment
message.
for shock and horror for the heroes and for the Earth. In here, the moon getting blown up is during the Earth's salvation, so that's a nice play on things I do dig. Also, one thing that's opposite of the game, instead of Shadow being the one who falls to Earth, it's Sonic.
It is a shame that they only adapted Live and Learn and Escape from the City and a little bit of the Eggman theme.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad they didn't adapt Tails' SA2 theme, if I'm honest.
What about
Hey,
what
that
about
one's
Knuckles'
fire.
raps?
Love those.
Those two. Okay, to be fair, I'll walk it back a little bit. Tails' theme could work. You just need to get a better singer.
I love it. Even with Shadow, Eggman can't help but call him a stinking hedgehog.
Da, 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 da.
Tails was literally pulling a Superman there, yeah. Also, I guess, heating up, we're heat resistant.
Yeah, it's just, of course, removing the inhibitor rings because, again, Shadow is just that cool.
And also, I'll admit, this does feel a bit checklisty, but yes, it's an adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2, so Shadow's gotta sacrifice himself at the end.
For the greater good.
The greater good. Jim Carrey has no business looking this absolute awesome, but... So yes, Robotnik's going to do it. He's going to legit save the world.
Well, yes,
Jim
can't
Carrey
conquer
has-
a world that doesn't exist.
Jim Carrey has no business looking this badass as Robotnik, but holy cow. And yes, at the end of the streaming thing, which was deleted bits here, this is the culmination where he sends a message to the world. Again,
His final
not
announcement,
dooming
so-
it. This is also another interesting parallel to the game, whereas in the game, he was using it to broadcast about where he was holding the world hostage. Here, he's using it to say goodbye to his friend.
Oh. I think another deleted scene was supposed to have, because of the massive usage of the Chaos Emeralds, were supposed to be random scene flashing of past events and potential future to foreshadow the fact that the Chaos Emeralds could be able to use time travel. Basically, a lot of early drafts of the movie did involve the foreshadowing of time travel in some capacity.
Supposedly, time travel was flipping actually going to be in that, with us seeing even an evil future with Eggman and Metal Sonic, essentially. Oh, by the way, As it may come as no surprise to you at this point, Rouge was also supposed to be in this movie. Yeah, that's the interesting thing we've talked about before, but Rouge apparently was supposed to be in all 3 of the movies at some point, but for one reason or another, she wasn't in. However, Big was also supposed to be in this movie, apparently.
As in, like, he'd show up in random places.
I think something like that.
But yes, with the 3rd movie, they completed the trifecta: Toxic, Old Man, Doomed, Yowie.
So
And
this
thus,
is the
Robotnik and Shadow go out.
farewell, Shadow, forever.
And Eggman.
Well, it's probably their way out in case Jim Carrey cannot come back for a 4th movie.
They sort of did that with the 2nd movie, too.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of themes that get adapted, if you listen very, very closely, it's more obvious on the soundtrack itself, but this is an adaptation of the last theme from Sonic Adventure 2, the one that plays basically after Final Hazard and the credits roll. So yeah, Shadow and Eggman are dead. We absolutely murdered Shadow, one of the most popular characters, and are leaving him dead for real.
Well, shoot, now we're all the villains. What are we gonna do?
Oh, we got Eggman Nega. We got the Zeddy.
Who cares about the Zeti Trova?
What? What? Should we bring in the chat? Infinite himself?
I don't know. I think the Babylon Rogues would have been fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sonic. Team Sonic sticks.
Yeah, the team doesn't sound very exciting.
And Stone just walks away out of the movie relatively serene. I was wondering if he was gonna turn out to be a future villain and having resentment for what Sonic did to the Doctor, but doesn't seem to be that way. Who knows? Maybe it will turn out that way at the end of the day.
Maybe he just becomes a barista.
Anything can happen with Stone. In fact, there's a ton to speculate on, which I'll talk more about after we finish the movie.
It's the superpower of team. I think we already did that one.
Hilarious.
And look, Tom's alive! Now, believe it or not, Tom was originally supposed to die.
What is this? Is a reshoot?
I want to love.
I don't know if it's a reshoot, but Jeff Bauer has admitted that in the original script, Tom was supposed to die, but they walked that back.
Also, I don't know who was in the team who wanted to have those couple of extra lines that imply that the dog is super jealous of Sonic, but that's actually hilarious as a nice touch.
You gonna race to win?
Not just a simple race, but a special race to see who's the fastest.
The only.
They remember Knuckles can dig underground for this scene.
Hang on. Tails is cheating.
That before?
I don't think he did. Okay, maybe he did in a second movie, but not in this, I can tell that.
But Tails now is cheating. Sonic... no one said anything about using mechanical devices.
There were no rules, I don't think.
Against it. And yes, now Sonic gets to do what he has never done before. Conquer the country music genre.
And now, and also now he looks like his Sonic the Fighters model.
Yeah, okay. A lot of people were speculating maybe they'll use Dreamcast models. Somebody went, psych! We're using Sonic the Fighter. So if you ever wondered what Sonic Adventure 2 would look like on the Sega Saturn, here you go. Oh, Chow.
God damn it, Chow.
They're mad that the Chow Garden got destroyed.
So there you go. So Tyson Hess was a co-producer. If you ever wanted to imagine Shadow in Sonic the Fighters, this is the closest we're ever going to get to it.
Also, it'd be funny if somebody literally rips the files and mods him in there.
There are 2 post-credit scenes. I think we're about to get one soon enough, and there's another one at the very end.
And yes, I do love this song. I'll give them credit. Again, for the original music they do make for these movies, each song for the credits has been pretty good.
It's also very cute how they recap the movie. A lot of credits these days love to do that, like for example the Aquaman movie. I don't know who started the trend, but I do dig these this abridged kind of way, sometimes humorous way to recap the story.
It's charming. And one more adventure to pose.
Heck yeah.
Here we go.
Anyway, time for peak.
How long were you racing?
About that. He kind of overshot. Welcome to New York.
So, how? Oh,
Hey, that means you won.
Get it? Because Paramount now owns the Terminator franchise.
Metal Sonic just refuses to ever change his design. Between this and the Boom universe, he always stays consistent.
Well,
I'm so happy with that.
Also, did he always had the arm cannon with pink energy?
I think he's had it in the comics and maybe a game or two.
I guess also this serves to showcase the fact that Sonic is equipped by this point to deal with at least one Metal Sonic, although that in itself might not be just enough.
Yeah, not to mention this Metal Sonic might be actually a leader. Yes,
I did not expect him to show up at all.
They might indeed be.
But now you've got thousands of them.
Yay!
The Metallics Brotherhood from Sonic the Comic.
These movies really love the British comics.
What surprise!
Oh god, the moon's still destroyed! One could say, but a rose by any other name.
Let's saw Amy Riding Hood.
So, pop quiz. Who do you think we're gonna get to voice her? Zendaya. or Aquafina?
I don't care. She looks cool as hell.
Anyway, I do wonder, there's a lot of speculation to be had about what the fourth movie would be. Like, obviously, part would be Sonic CD, with, involvement of Amy and Metal Sonic, but many people speculate it will be a story where Amy needs Sonic to survive, Terminator style, because maybe she comes from a bad future where Sonic died and everything went to shit. It's also worth noting that, again, the arm cannon that Metal Sonic had was using pink energy. As we established in the movies and the Knuckles series, the weapons do reflect the quill that is we're powering up. So these Metal Sonic are powering up with Amy energy. So I do wonder also what that means, if in the bad future Amy is the de facto leader of the Resistance and she needs to come back to save Sonic to help her with a bad future. Regardless, my biggest speculation, but I think it's more of a no-brainer, is that the final boss, final encounter, whoever the bad main villain would turn out to be, if a variation of Eggman turns out of its Agent Stone, the final boss would be Metal Overlord by having the bunch of Metal Sonics coming together to create that. It feels way too obvious as a result.
As for who I think they'll get to play Amy, Alison Brie.
Well, Metal Sonic even have the dialogue.
Okay. If they're gonna have Metal speak, I wouldn't be surprised if they do like what Heroes did and have Ben Schwartz voice him, but have it be like very filtered. That said, if they want to go for a different voice actor, now they probably would not be cheeky enough to have Arnold Schwarzenegger voice him, or who knows, maybe it might be like Jim Carrey. One speculation I have heard is that this could be either Eggman or Stone who's created Metal Sonic, and thus it might use Jim Carrey's voice and whatnot.
Unless
in
they
addition,
want to introduce, the Eggman variant from the Rush games to have the excuse of having Jim Carrey playing two characters again.
Eggman Nega, who is canonically Eggman's descendant, who also flip-flops between Blaze's dimension and Silver's future, which is still Sonic's dimension, essentially.
I was going to say, wouldn't you have to throw Blaze in there, too?
Not necessarily, since, again, these movies definitely play up things a little different. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we get Blaze by, like, movie 5 or 6 or what.
Basically, what I'm basically speculating the most will be that the 4th movie will be a mix between adapting Sonic CD and Sonic Heroes.
If Tom can be persuaded again, what do you think the ratio of Japanese to US music will be adapted?
The one that costs less to license, easy. I don't know what that specifically is, but it will be that.
No. Here's how it's gonna go, guys. the US release will get the US soundtrack included in its theaters, and the European release will get the European and Japanese soundtrack.
It's not the last time something like this happened, not necessarily on music level, but on voice acting level. Let's not forget about the Queen's Corgi we did a few years ago. And then there's Wallace and Gromit Curse of a Were-Rabbit, where Jeffrey Katzenberg purposely needed to have the voice actors re-record all of the movie for the American, specifically the American dub and not British dub, because he was afraid that the American people would not know what a marrow is.
So he literally had them redo the whole script, though, just
substituting the word marrow with melon, because Jeffrey Katzenberg was an asshole at the end of the day.
Goodness gracious.
About that scene, like, I didn't know for sure, but I already had a feeling that Amy would show up because I know a Sonic fan who does not care about these movies at all, and she was more interested if Amy was going to show up and what they were going to do with her. So the fact that she suddenly started talking about them, I was like, okay, Amy definitely showed up. And I didn't know about Metal Sonic at all, so I was freaking out so much when I saw him that I suddenly forgot that Amy existed, and then she showed up and it was like, okay, everybody's here. Great, love this.
There's been a lot of concept art shown from Sonic 3. Believe it or not, a lot of that concept art is time travel, which showed Eggman ruling over a bad future with Metal Sonic by his side, essentially. So it's interesting to think that we could have potentially gotten time travel thrown into this movie as well with everything that was going on.
Like you said,
Sonic 3 has that treasure trove.
Like I said towards the beginning, this movie went to a lot of different type of scripts, having to take into account if Jim Carrey would have not being able to return, or if he did. So with the version that we got at the end of the day is just one that they found the more convenient to actually adapt. But this movie could have been very different.
So one also speculation people have had is, in addition to Amy and Metal Sonic, some people are wondering if we're also going to see Silver get added to the mix as well.
Because that future.
Time travel. And hey, one thing to also note here, while Gerald appears to have been zapped and fried, what was it he got zapped into? Shadow's Chaos Energy. And Chaos Energy has been one of the things used for time travel in the Sonic series, so let's say we want to keep Eggman dead but his arc intact, maybe it'll be Gerald who comes back.
Scene, just to state the obvious.
And all that survived the Shadow was his bracelet.
Inhibitor rings, yes. But of course, he's still alive because he's just that cool. Deal with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least it's not. At least it's not like in SA2 where we don't see, either that and heroes. He just pops up. Well, not pops up, but they find him in a bloody tube.
Just a final speculation based also on this scene. I do wonder if the entire plot of Sonic 4, potentially the fourth movie, would be Amy having to bring Sonic in the future. I don't know if Tails and Knuckles will tag along, or if we will meet a future version of them in the future. And he has to stay there for the most part, and when he comes back to the present, he thinks everything is fine, and that's where the Black Comet or Black Doom show up, leading to the Shadow movie, where he has to defeat them. I don't know.
I was actually wondering, do you guys think Shadow will be majorly involved with the fourth movie?
This
or
is what I
let
meant.
him do his
More
own
of a case
thing?
of have Sonic being teleported in the future as an excuse to abandon this setting for a bit, and when he comes back, that's when the next troubles start arriving, with Shadow, returning for the post-credit scene and says, "Oh, it's my time to save the world," or something like that.
Also, calling it now, since there's been some hintings that there's going to be some romantic comedy in Sonic 4, this movie is going to remember that Amy does get a crush on Sonic, and since brand synergy do be all important, especially for cinematic universes these days, that's when the Sonic games will remember to emphasize that again.
Don't worry, Jova. That means basically that we're gonna have Amy fall in love with Sonic only at the very end, and for the most part, she's gonna tell him how much she loves tarot cards instead. Because that's the important part these days.
That being said, what a movie! I will say it on good record here that I do think that This is a prime example of how video game movie adaptations should be willing to take risks, make some changes where it helps, but at the same time, don't be embarrassed by the video game you're based off of. Like Tio mentioned, the Super Mario Brothers movie also was clearly not
Well, the
embarrassed of the games it
2023
came
movie,
from.
if you really get down to it, the
2023
the
one.
1993 movie was clearly, ashamed of the source material to an extent.
But yeah, no, like, I mean, this one pretty much ticks off the right boxes. Is it perfect? No, but this is like the exemplary step in the right direction. And wouldn't you know, fans showed it. Until the Minecraft movie came out, this was the second highest grossing movie based off of a video game, essentially. Only behind the Mario movie. And in spite of my issues with the Mario movie that I do think holds it back, I do feel like it was a step in the right direction, showcasing that, what a shock! Fans will come to the theaters to see an adaptation of the video game series that they loved in the first place. What a novel concept.
Wow, it sure would be a shame if this movie actually did not get nominated for Best Adaptation at the Game Awards.
But yeah, as for my final thoughts, yeah, I did enjoy this movie a lot when I first saw it in the cinema, and I do enjoy it still now. Now, I'm in the camp that, yes, it's important to be close to the source, but there is also a danger of being, too close. Like, you're more focused on that than telling a good story. And that kind of handicaps the Mario movie, the more recent one. I mean, because, God forbid you could say that about the first one. Because that seemed to be more focused a lot on having getting the imagery there and the sound, but its story was extremely bog standard. Whereas this film, while it doesn't have as many musical cues, it at least is a better, well-rounded product overall, especially in terms of its story. We got the anti-hero who's, well, understandably very upset that his best mate's dead, and that he missed 50 years. I wonder what Shadow was actually looking forward to seeing in the near future where he was before everything went belly up.
Well, maybe travel around the world with Maria.
Pretty much, yeah. It's interesting. As opposed to SA2, where he longs to check out the Earth down below, here his fascination is with the stars and exploration all in general. Again, not too dissimilar from how Sonic was. The difference being, obviously, that tragedy set Shadow on a different path.
With a 50-year waiting period. But yeah, overall, yeah, I do think that, everything that was good about the previous movies is still here and improved. And I'll be very interested in seeing where they go with Metal Sonic and Amy, especially with who they're going to get to voice her. Because since we're comparing video game movie future ones for a second, I was super convinced that they were going to cast Buddy Zendaya or somebody as Rosalina in the upcoming Mario movie. So Brie Larson was a bit of a shock. So who knows? Maybe that will be the case here.
I argue she has a bit of a too deep of a voice. Then again, that didn't stop for having some similar treatment for Sonic himself, so I don't know.
I feel like Alison Brie is just that right balance, which is funnily enough because Pringus McDingus does make Amy Alison Brie's character in his Sonic Community parody videos.
Or, hear me out, very crazy thought out there, you get Cindy Robinson. I know, right? Very
that
shocking
could be cool.
as a thought.
I think part of the reason they might not do that is because, okay,
you need a name on the poster, I know. Capitalism.
No. Okay, not directly that. It has to do with the trajectories. Like I've mentioned, they got a lot of goodwill from, hey, bringing Tails as VA from the games here, but one thing they did notice, I'm guessing, is, at least by the time of, well, actually, no, as early as 2, one thing that a lot of fans could get speculation out of was trying to guess who's going to voice who. It's kind of like the Sonic equivalent of, like, people trying to guess who's going to be the next fighter in Smash here, which I think Sega and Paramount are aware of how much hype that generates, essentially, trying to guess this or that. Like, again, they're in a special stage where people aren't as hard about them not bringing back the VAs for Sonic, because at this point, people have gotten used to it, and 2, unlike Mario, Sonic has sadly not had as consistent a cast. Thankfully, Roger Craig Smith has stuck around, but Shoot, even in the modern era, Knuckles has changed actors a few times. Thankfully, Cindy Robinson's still on Amy, but technically, Tails is on his second VA for the modern era. Remember, he technically started off with Kate, actually.
Well, they got Kate back to voice Wave in the Sonic Racing game. I'm practically done anyway. As well as the upcoming Sonic movie, I'll also be interested in seeing how. I think the Mario Galaxy movie is going to be responding directly to this. But it'll be interesting to see what lessons that learns from, say, this movie if it does. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain that. Again, like I said when we did the Mario 2023 movie, I will take this movie over that, especially compared to the first two, because the compared to the first two movies, this I argue finally starts to get more properly the bigger picture. The jokes land better for the most part. Like I said, the first two movies did have the moments where the jokes genuinely, I argue, not only were not particularly laughable, but some of them felt way too mean-spirited for what they wanted to say. Like in the first movie, Sonic saying that Eggman looked like a Confederate just because he had a mustache. That really felt out of nowhere. But again, like I said, this seems to actually get the balance just right. It still, I argue, misses a lot in terms of what it adapts from the games. This is really a genuine alternate universe version of Sonic Adventure 2, but it tries to condense so much stuff because, again, Sonic Adventure 2 had to continue a bunch of character development from the previous games and had a massive cast to work with. 3 characters per team, plus the supporting cast and the humans all around them, plus the minion settings and extra villain in the form of a Bio-Lizard. While instead, here, despite being the third movie, they wanted to play it more safe in order to slowly build things up. We really have to see if the fourth movie step things even further or not. What I'm more curious about is what Paramount is gonna do for Paramount Plus series content, because I don't remember if we ever mentioned that in the Knuckles series. For all the stuff that we did not like about it, the Knuckles series, remember, was one of the first things that Paramount put on Paramount Plus for the sake of boosting its stream program. And it worked. It was the most viewed thing on the streaming service for a very long time, and I think it's still considered that. So methinks Paramount sees pretty much a gold mine in exploiting this particular license. So it's more of a speculation of when rather than if we're gonna get another series. Will it be about Tails? Will it be about Shadow instead of having a future-length movie? Will it be about introducing Amy in the grand scheme of things? And how much budget will he have? What will he be talking about, and so on and so forth. But again,
while you're on that
go on.
tangent, there is one thing I wanted to ask you. There was a running theory, and there still is a theory that is still in the works regarding director Rockwell. As we went in, she kind of disappears from the plot, but it seems like she had some evil ambitions. I remember one thing of word, and a lot of things people believed, was that she was actually going to turn out to be Rouge in disguise, trying to steal the cards for herself or whatnot. And given that, Rockwell's kind of just left up in the air, I wonder if this means she could potentially be a future antagonist as well, with the world pretty much being their oyster and whatnot.
She's okay. I want some sides to the theory about Rouge. As you said, Rouge was supposed to be in all 3 movies, but she was cut away for one reason or another. But I can't believe she's filling in the roles of the gun commander, which by the time of Shadow Generations we learned that he has a canonical name. I forgot his name though.
I legit thought you were going to say Topaz from Sonic X, actually.
The guy with the heterochromia because of the accident on the Ark.
Yeah, that's the thing. Originally, it seemed like they were making Commander Walters that guy, but I'm guessing she encapsulates more his negative stuff, whereas Commander Walters is the more
also will have a good
stuff.
reason potentially to have animosity against Shadow. So I get the idea that if what is speculated is true and they're saving, the plot of Shadow 5 for a solo Shadow movie, she's gonna play a part in it too. maybe that's when she will come back for it. Again, the MCU has demonstrated of managing to juggle back a bunch of characters that were forgotten and have been left behind for a very long time in order to bring them back and give them a new light and new stuff to do. So it is entirely possible for this to happen here too, but we'll have to see if they just can pull it off or not. Again, for all the things that I do not like about these movies, Jeff Fowler, I can't believe he's definitely trying, fighting a constant fight against the Paramount executives who would want nothing more than to turn this into a very shallow parody of itself, more akin to what the Knuckles series was, but he's trying his damn hardest to instead please the game fans. So we'll have to see if that continues or stays the same or not. The voice acting is fine for the most part, but my statement in general about the CGI characters, specifically the game CGI characters, still remains the same. Particularly also what I said about Keanu Reeves as Shadow at the beginning. Sure, he's doing basically just his John Wick stick, and it is amusing, but as a Shadow voice, it has the same problem that I have with Kirk Thornton. Too dry, and not having enough of a, flowing bite to it. Thankfully, once again, similar to the previous movie, this is where My Country's Dub comes in, because similar to the other characters, also Shadow got his voice actor from the game, and he's fantastic in that. Absolutely one of his best roles to date, in my opinion, and if I ever want to watch this movie, I'll just watch it with My Country's Dub because of it.
I'm guessing for Eggman and Gerald, they basically have the same voice actor play them.
Not for the ones from the games, mind you. Like I said, the live action characters do get the stable voice actors that the actors would have. In the case of Jim Carrey, the one who has been voicing him since the early 2000s. But again, all the game characters, again, shocking train of thought, the game characters, they're CGI and thus we do not have an actor on screen, get the voice actors that they had in actual games. Again, crazy, I know. But like I said, despite these, the voice acting is for the American version is serviceable, even if I don't particularly agree with its decisions. Jim Carrey having to do a double voice for Eggman and Gerald is interesting, and I am used to see him in different roles, like Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, Number 23, and The Truman Show, of course, so less comedic inclined role, even if it's over the top. But here, I don't remember when was the last time when he played a straightforward villain. Like, yeah, sure, the Grinch, if you could say that, but not really at the end of the day.
Riddler.
Yeah, I guess, but in that one he was more over the top than that, to the point where his brain exploded towards the end, kinda, sorta. But it does a job for this, admittedly. Okay, also the fact that they had Tom and his wife being mostly on the sidelines was a good choice, especially Wade, because again, I get the idea. Maybe in a different version of the script they were supposed to have a bigger role. I don't know. But for what they are in the movie, they're mostly fine. And I'm glad also they did not kill Tom, because, not so much for me because of the whole becoming friends with Shadow would have felt potentially, too awkward, but mostly also because it would have been too cheap as a move. Again, it is important to remember that if you want a character to die, you have to make sure that there's a very good reason behind it, or if you want to make it purposefully senseless, you still have to find a way for the story to have it feeling justified, because otherwise it feels incredibly dissatisfying for the viewers, especially if you're not Game of Thrones and you're pulling this shit like out of nowhere, and that's not really what the viewer might be expecting.
Like, you gotta keep in mind, when you're killing a character, you're effectively shutting off potential storylines, unless you BS them back to life, but in that case, that problem speaks for itself, essentially.
Like what they did with Eggman at the very end, like I said, it's only just in case Jim Carrey cannot come back for a fourth movie, and if that is truly the end of Dr. Eggman, it had a good arc and a note to end upon, Again.
And it would be interesting, because it would do something that the Sonic series has technically done, but obviously hasn't done as much. introducing an idea of a threat to Sonic without Eggman being the main threat,
Well,
essentially.
didn't the comics did that all the time? Like you told me with, what was the name of the guy?
Ken Penders, Ian Flynn.
Those are the writers. I'm talking about the character, like Mammoth Mogul or something.
Yes, Mammoth Mogul, the Iron Witch, which, okay, to be fair, Iron Witch was actually pretty cool. Naugus, like,
Didn't also IDW did something like that with a discarded version of the Metal Knuckles recently? With the Junkyard arc or something?
Mechasonic, but yes, yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, even IDW's been doing it. What I get is like, hey, we don't see that often in the games, though.
No, yeah.
Is what I mean. But yeah, no, it could honestly be interesting, and I welcome the possibility, essentially.
But again, we'll have to see. What I find hilarious is that you can kind of tell, also rewatching the first movie, that when making the first movie, this level of pre-planning was not at all what Paramount was wanting, and instead they wanted the whole Alvin the Chipmunks, clone that was just playing more safe about the wacky adventures of Tom and Sonic across the real world.
I will say this, that backlash that they got ended up being a blessing in disguise, because that saved us from having what was... Okay, the script I do still think was good for Sonic 1, but it would have been hard to really praise the script if we were busy looking at what that abomination was set to be. Jim Carrey would have really had to carry that movie even harder than he already did, essentially. But it came from that to basically something that respects the series. And again, the movie series did so much for not just the franchise, but also the industry, since, remember, Jim Carrey was planning his retirement soon, but the Sonic movie series apparently convinced him to not retire. And in fact, the Sonic series is...
where he went for a third movie, not just a sequel.
Yeah, like, Carrey has been notorious for really not liking to do sequels, but getting him to do a third movie was just insane in its own regard. And
it's the Sonic franchise, of all things.
I mean, to be fair, when the competition is something like Son of a Mask, yeah, I kind of get it.
I mean, okay, he did come back for the Dumb and Dumber sequel as well. I have not seen that. I haven't really gotten a feel for it. What I will say is that also, the other thing the Sonic movie series did, it convinced Sega to actually let the games cook. Like, apparently the first Sonic movie doing as well as it did is what finally gave Iizuka the leverage to tell Sega, hey guys, if we actually take feedback from the fans and even take some time to not rush one of our products, maybe it can be good. Frontiers came about, people loved it. And then later, Shadow Generations came out and showed that Frontiers wasn't just a fluke. And now, even Crossroads, which was also made by Sonic Team, has been getting a lot of praise. Like, give them time and
happened in the
to
meantime, but less people want to talk about that. To ramp up my final thoughts, because otherwise we divulge too long. The music is much more memorable because it manages to implement stuff from the games. But you can tell that it's Tom Wolkenborg to begrudgingly insert those because it's not really used to do those. I can only handle that the streak continues with this, with the fourth movie and so on. Although Dweeb's point made sense, I do wonder if they really implement stuff from Sonic CD, what kind of soundtrack will they pick from the Japanese or the American one? Maybe a mix of both? I don't know.
Yeah. I honestly think they might do a mix of both. Like, when it comes to the soundtracks, there are some from each side that tend to be more popular than others. For example, when it comes to Tidal Tempest, most people like to bring up the US version of the theme.
Conversely, I much prefer the Japanese original version for Metal Sonic's boss theme. You know, the
Stardust Speedway.
Yeah,
Stardust Speedway. That's like, Stardust Speedway, that's like the big debating point. But yeah, the Japanese version just tend to be the more popular. I do like projects that incorporate both, like Generations.
I also know that apparently Sonic Forces used the American soundtrack for the Metal Sonic boss fight. Good for them.
And that was an awesome remix, yeah.
But again, to ramp things up, again, that's for the music. So I guess this franchise did the unthinkable for me, who normally don't care about the Sonic product, and be interested to see what the future movies and series will hold out. I just pray that a future series will not be like the Knuckles series, where we need to spend an entire episode having to just stop the plot because we need to tell how the specific religious tradition is, which really only tangentially scrapes what Knuckles' characterization was supposed to be.
Can you imagine Wade Whipple here to show Shadow the true meaning of life?
Hanukkah, yes, Shadow gets 12 crappy presents. Hooray. End of my final thoughts. Shiroi.
All right, I love this movie. Some of the jokes don't really land for me. There aren't really many, just a couple, mostly because I feel like I'm just a bit too grown for them. But then, on a different scale, there's the way Gerald died.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
They did not need the fart sound effects. Just yeet him into space if you want. But when you add that sound effect, I kind of just want to say bring back the firing squad. That would have been preferred.
Did someone from Nickelodeon walked in for a second?
Especially that being 5 minutes after the whole "You're no Maria," a line that hits really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But it was nice for them to actually use game music this time. It really wasn't that hard. It didn't kill you to do it. Including Live and Learn.
And you know what? I'll give him credit. While he peppered it throughout, it didn't seem like he half-assed it either. I've seen so many people incorporate those remixes of Live and Learn he did into fan edits of the song here. It's dude, if you could have done it this well, why the hell were you holding back?
I don't know, maybe it was an executive thing where they were no, we can't do that, it's stupid or something. I don't know. I don't know how their brains work. I'm not disappointed that Knuckles and Tails didn't really do much because it was more Shadow story than anything, so that's fine. A surprising amount of references to Shadow 05. Very, very cool.
And people love it now. Nature truly is healing.
That's because Shadow Gens took all the missed potential and made it good.
So you see, guys, for when we eventually do make the Shadow the Hedgehog movie, to commemorate the original game, you have to go to the theater 105 times to see all the endings we will make for the movie.
Was it that supposed, was it Spider-Verse controversy, where they had, slightly different edits of the movie or something?
Yeah, similar also to the endings of the Crew movie and the sequel to Unfriended, where they had different endings depending on which screening you went to.
Can you imagine if they did that for the Shadow movie?
I mean, it's Paramount. I can't believe them do something like that to get more asses in the seats. So.
It would be such a gimmick. I can't lie. If those endings are different enough,
and then none of them is canon, and the true
ending.
ending is the one for the home video release.
Yeah,
that would
you have to buy it a second time.
There you go, suckers. The canon ending was the one you could have waited for all along.
But yeah, the Metal Sonic reveal was very cool. Did not expect that. And I'm glad he kept his original design, because with a lot of these adaptations, you sort of get, generic robots. But no, he looks goofy as all heck, and I'm happy with that. Now, who made him or where he came from, would very much like to know. But obviously that's for another movie. And Amy's part in it as well. Looking forward to seeing what they do with her. But yeah, Keanu as Shadow, great. No complaints there. The scenes with Maria are very cute. It was nice for them to do something like that, considering, as far as games up until Shadow Gens, because she was already dead, we kind of just got mini flashbacks. There was no real, extended interactions. So yeah, that was very nice. And I feel quite vindicated by the fact that she wasn't killed by being shot. I did say it, but they had full intention of doing that. But that isn't ultimately how she died. And I'm really happy with that, because the whole, they're going to shoot this child in this movie, those memes got so old so quickly.
Oh yes.
Like,
The
I
people
am
who
so
would've
happy those
cheered.
people did not get what they wanted, because by the time this movie came out, they were pissing me off. But so yeah, I feel quite vindicated that, yeah, she died, but it wasn't that way. Great.
This just in, for our re-release of Shadow 05, we will in fact be including the cutscene of Maria being shot.
Lovely.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine if they did?
Reminder that the moment before her death is a trading card you can get in one of the Sonic Rivals games.
It's
Like,
this-
you know,
this is
the
literally-
screenshot from the cutscene in Shadow 05, you know, where she, like, turns around just before the guy holds up the gun? That is a
Yes.
trading card you can get in the Rivals game.
This is literally the equivalent of the Paz spirit from Smash Ultimate that comes equipped with a bomb. If you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5, you're horribly not knowing the context, and trust me, it's
Oh,
better
God.
this way.
No, I'm happy that they seem to be getting a bit more brave with these movies. I'm not sure if ashamed of the franchise it's tied to is the right word. More like they were worried about annoying people because, you know, there's an obvious reputation there. I'm glad that they seem to be getting a bit more relaxed with how they're making these. It is turning out really well. Like, each movie has improved something, and I hope that keeps going. But yeah, there you go.
Before giving your fan thoughts, Joe, I bothered to search around because I was searching for potential clips to give you to hear about how Shadow sounds in my country is dubbed. But apparently, according to posts on Reddit, so take that credibility with a grain of salt, it seems that my country seems to be the only one that entirely applied the game's voice actors for the game characters besides Robotnick. Not sure why. Specifically if that's the case, but I'll have to dig deeper into it. Go on.
I do recall talking to Pedro, and he has mentioned that apparently in a lot of European countries they do tend to emphasize going for their celebrities, especially because over there.
That's what happened with the Ratchet and Clank movie in a lot of European languages, where they chose YouTubers for the characters instead of the actual voice actors, which pissed off our respective VAs.
Celebrities are one thing, but when you put in a content creator, you're especially going to piss someone off if they clearly don't fit
It's
and you
also
just
about
added
if
them to
said
get
content
views.
creator replaces an existing VA. That's the big thing, you know.
That too. Yeah, that is true.
Anyway, your final thoughts, Joda, please.
What can I say? I love this movie. It is one of my favorite movies of all time, not just for what it is, but what it said, what it's accomplished, and what it truly did, essentially. It showed that a video game movie does not have to be embarrassed of being a video game movie, while still doing its own special thing. I like that it kept the human characters because, yeah, surprise, surprise, Tom, Maddie, especially Stone, have garnered fan bases. Shoot, we're to a point where actually there's a good chunk of Sonic fans who would love to see Stone actually make his way into the games, and in fact, there is a mod for Sonic 3 and Knuckles that includes Stone as a trade-in for some of the Act 1 bosses. So,
similar to
yeah,
how
that's
Agent
pretty nice.
Coulson found its way into the comics after his popularity in the movies.
Yeah, you know, I would not mind, especially since the Sonic movies, like I mentioned, have, well, they were apparently the starting domino for Sonic as a whole, getting his groove back, essentially. Comics, movies, and the games, essentially. Sure, even the toys now, like, holy cow. Kid me would have loved how much easier it is to actually get Sonic merch than it was back in the day. Like, it was a thing, but it wasn't nearly sold as much as it is now. But this movie, the writing is keen and essential. The pacing is pretty good too. There are some deleted scenes I do wish made it in, like, you know, showing that Gerald uses Shadow's quills to live on, or again, that fight between Sonic and Shadow that was supposed to happen at Gun HQ, which would have had Tails and the Eggman doing some hacking that would have helped or hindered the heroes, which would have given Sonic a win over Shadow before the super fight, essentially.
I'm very bummed, as I mentioned before, Java, on how a lot of blockbuster movies done by imported companies seem to refuse to have the director's cut versions for the home video or streaming services. It seems that only specific directors like Zack Snyder want to explicitly do that to try to incorporate lost footage, but otherwise companies like Disney and in this case Paramount don't seem to give a shit about that. I don't know why.
It's honestly a shame. The score is definitely the best it's ever been for the Sonic movie franchise here. Of course, they got Live and Learn, which plays throughout the movie, but they also threw in some just to Escape from the City, and the last theme from Sonic Adventure 2. They even throw in Green Hill, the Sonic Victory theme, essentially, as well as the Eggman theme from '06 and a few games that came after here and there. There's some original stuff as well, but that's fine, and I don't even mind the licensed songs they used. Hell, this movie helped make Galvanize insanely popular years after that song had passed through. And oh, the Eggman dancing thing. It's so nice to see that they remembered that Robotnik can bust a move. Now this time with his Gramps here. Which, yeah, I'll admit, Gerald was not done exactly how I would have liked it to have been. First off, I would have rather it have been Christopher Lloyd, but I guess if they wanted to have Gerald really breakdancing and not have to, like, CGI a filter over Lloyd's face, like, I don't know. Like, I know Lloyd's pretty old, but can he still, move spry? I don't know.
I don't think so.
So, in that case, I can kind of get why they went with Jim Carrey. And again, he does have amazing chemistry with himself.
I mean, if Disney can turn Harrison Ford into the Red Hulk, I'm pretty sure they could have done this in this movie.
God, can you imagine? But yeah, no. One thing that is also interesting is, like I said, I do like the interactions between Robotnik and Gerald. Like, I legit do believe that Gerald did deep down love his grandson. Like, I do feel like he wasn't just simply using him just to use him. But what I do think was what pushes him to say, "You're no Maria," is that he's frustrated that Robotnik still clings to the idea of there being a world to rule over. And I feel that in that moment, that's him trying to drive Robotnik to a sense of just utter despair. And when he realizes that doesn't work, he goes for the absolute clutch there with pretty much an axe to the heart with that line. Holy cow. It's a shame because this implies that even when he was dancing with his grandson, he was planning his doom. "Oh, Ivo, you dance amazing, but you're no Maria. Your Running Man was amazing, but she could moonwalk like no man's business."
It also recontextualizes, obviously, the whole, spending quality time in the VR as a last day of happiness kind of thing.
Yeah, so I do legit believe Gerald did care for Robotnik, but again, he was too far gone. No matter how much he may have loved his grandson, he was going to kill him one way or another, so best to make his last days his best. Stone sees an impeccable arc end here, with him truly being given the full respect that Robotnik would never give just about anyone. Like, he arguably valued Stone even more than his robots in that last moment, and that gives Stone closure. Robotnik himself, again, has a pretty stunning ending here. It could honestly be the end, and people would be okay with that. There are ways to bring back Jim Carrey even if Robotnik stays dead as well, between Gerald potentially being warped by chaos energy, although let's be fair, they could probably also claim that that explosion also time warped Robotnik and that makes him the ruler of the evil future. Or who knows, Eggman Nega may crop up as some long lost descendant from, I guess, a woman that Robotnik had a one-night stand with or something. Who knows? I mean, you may think it's weird, but DC's lately been doing that with a lot of their villains lately. For this in its own universe, this is an impeccable one. The Team Sonic are on impeccable display as well here. Each gets to do their roles relatively well. Do Knuckles and Tails maybe do a bit less, maybe, but I feel like they all filled it just well now and then. What I love is that they even let Knuckles, of all people, be the voice of reason, essentially. Like, again, I think in a way, he sees Sonic's anger and is reminded of his own mistakes from the second movie, so in the end, he chooses to ultimately trust Sonic with it, and it does work out, essentially, in the long run. Tails is also there, and hey, Tails gets to actually get the first comeuppance over Shadow, which, again, to be fair, Nothing new for Tails. Need I remind you, in Sonic X, he basically sent Shadow hurtling out in space that one time.
And I slaughtered them like animals.
Yes. Again. In the team of World Breakers and God Destroyers, it's the twin-tailed child fox you gotta watch out for the most.
Especially if you disturb his morning nap. Jesus.
Oh god, then you're dead. The humans in general were well treated, I feel. Tom and Maddie, nice. Even the bit with Rachel and her husband now, which, hey, that was some nice confirmation. I think the weakest link is Kristen Ritter's character, Director Rockwell. Like, I can't tell if they had something going with her, but that had to be cut, or if they're just trying to leave her around as a potential force to be used. I think the only issue is that she leaves the movie so abruptly, despite some implications that she has some evil ambitions in and of herself.
And Gunn also doesn't do anything against the Eclipse canon, weirdly enough. Shadow was correctly guessing they were going to launch a missile as them, but no, they don't do anything, which is weird. We don't even get an explanation of why they did not attack.
I guess, to be fair, unlike the games, Gunn don't have access to all the spaceships that they do in the games, or the space seeker weaponry and technology either.
It's still very weird. Again, it really screams to me something was planned but was cut away from the final product.
Yeah, again, I do feel like this movie could have been longer. They could have fit in more. Like, guys, it's a Sonic movie, but trust me, if you make it good enough, even kids will be willing to stay in the theater beyond 2 hours.
It's also not that job. It's also for the whole thing about if we don't make the movie too big, we can screen it multiple times during the day. Which is what, like I said, save that for a director's cut for the home video, because, you know, that way you don't have to care about this kind of minutia, and you can put it on your streaming service to, you know, incentivize people to subscribe, and for the home video to incentivize people to buy the DVD and Blu-ray.
In that case, I don't get why studios have turned director's cut into a dirty word. Yes, I know that the calls for the Snyder Cut could be annoying, but even there was kind of a point of why people might want a director's cut. Like, I don't feel like you have to be scared of making a director's cut, but I digress, essentially. Even with that in mind, though, this is a stellar movie, one I would not hesitate to recommend and watch, essentially. It's a movie that makes me pumped for rewatching the trilogy, and it's a movie that makes me pumped for Sonic's future. And in that case, what more can I ask for? The movie did its job and then some, including ringing us out with this Christmas finale.
But Jova, I have one important thing that I want to know before we end off. Who did you think actually won the Ultima Passion, Juan or Pablo? I don't want to know.
You know, Shadow actually found a way to teleport himself into the series and took away that lovely lady, Gabriella. He saved her from an unhappy life with Ether. And
truly,
yes, that is
a miracle.
And that, my children, is the story of where Shadow learned his love for the world and all the Latinas that lived in it.
It truly is a Christmas miracle.
He just loves Latinas.
All right, folks. All right. See you for whatever happens in the future of Sonic. Stay cozy in your Christmas, even if you don't celebrate.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.
Ta-ta.